Lake is a beautiful narrative experience where you play as Meredith Weiss. She's in her 40s, she's spent her life grinding away for the big bucks in corporate America, and it's at the dawn of the computer age in the late 80s. She's burnt out, however. The wheel of big business is rarely kind, and so Meredith has returned back to her quiet, unassuming hometown of Providence Oaks to cover a mundane and repetitive postal job and get some well-earned rest at the same time. However, instead of being in the cog of a big giant wheel, Meredith is actually welcomed back into a community that she's left behind. For the people of Providence Oaks, home is where their favourite people are. This leaves you with an interesting choice that hangs over your playthrough of Lake. Just exactly where do you belong? As you explore life as Meredith, you can choose to shun the town and work on your own corporate ascent. You can also become part of an entire postal workaholic route and toe the company line. If you decide to embrace the community instead, you can pick up old friendships and also choose to date either Robert or Angie. Robert offers a quiet, secluded country life. Angie offers bright, bold city dreams. Everywhere you turn, characters and choices subtly ask you whether your home is with them. It's a big question. Often in life you'll be looking for the feeling of belonging somewhere. It can be with family, friends, a job, a location, a personality, or a lifestyle. It's something that's very personal to you, and it's only your choice. Someone or something can look and feel nice, but it could still mean that something still, feels missing. This is how Meredith's choices are laid out before you. The chaotic computer world seems to have very little regard for Meredith's personal life. The idyllic Providence Oaks, though, is so slow it makes Meredith's focus on the elements of her life that she hasn't had time to yet come to the foreground. Neither fit perfectly, but all the options are viable ones, and so it's down to you as the player to add those finishing touches and guide her to where she feels home is. As someone in their late 30s, I identified with Meredith's plight an awful lot. I've never really truly known what home is to me. I never knew what I wanted to be when I grew up, and any dreams of things I had were often pulled back sharply into crushing reality of that get a job to pay the bills mentality. Where I grew up, you didn't really have the opportunity to chase a dream. Things were tight and basic needs had to be met. The job I do now came out originally of necessity, and it's from there that I've had to really work at climbing up the corporate ladder, so to speak, and eventually be able to choose a day job that gives me personal satisfaction. It's not exactly perfect, but it's more than enough. In many ways, I feel like Meredith's old friend Kay too. Kay gave up her dreams of chasing music and arts because she found love and settled down at home, never straying into the big city and its bright and bold dreams that allure you in. Meredith, of course, has already been there, and depending on how you play her, she may have not found it quite as alluring once she was there. Kay spends the duration of Lake on her own journey, reigniting her passion for music and the arts again, showing that you don't have to sacrifice parts of yourself to achieve one area of your home life versus the other. Kay's got her husband, she's got her kids. She didn't get her creativity though. The beauty of Kay's story in Lake is that unlike Meredith's very binary choices that you have to make as the player, Kay is able to show that you don't have to feel like it's a choice. It doesn't have to be an either or. You can have both. It just takes time, work, and balance to spin all those plates at once. In many ways, this is how I try to live my life. I love creativity. I run indie websites about discovering new music, games, films, and I create my own music, radio shows, and have mini projects going on all over the shop. All of this keeps me fulfilled from an artistic and passion perspective, because quite often I don't actually get that from my day job. My job was advertised as a creative and dynamic one, but it doesn't feel like it is. So I had to shift what made that job home for me, and instead I now focus on what making a difference to people's lives could potentially do, and the work that I can put in to make that happen, and impacting their lives in a positive way. When it comes to my personal life, it's about making sure that the people I love are looked after for, cared for, supported and nurtured. All of these things are extremely important to me, and so when I think of that feeling of belonging somewhere, I look at where all of these different things collide and intersect, and then I aim to try and plop myself slap bang in the middle of it all. What that does mean is that my idea of home isn't tied to a specific end goal that I can single-mindedly chase. Like Meredith, I can have that change of heart, realign my ideals, and try something new. There's nothing wrong with trying on something new and seeing if it fits more comfy than what you've currently got on. It's also okay to not know, but adapt and bring things into focus over years and years of life experience. Every day is a school day is a phrase that I usually internally eye roll at, but sadly, it's a phrase that's quite often true. What's beautiful about Meredith's story is that no matter how you play her, she'll end up in the place that she feels she belongs in the most. You might have some missteps along the way, but you'll get there. I firmly believe that if you ever feel like you don't belong anywhere at all, it just means that you haven't quite discovered that right environment to both thrive and relax in yet. You might find it aged 16. You might sadly find it aged 66. You never really know until you know. Just be open to it, and if it does come along, and when it does come along, be prepared to take that plunge.